Lovely introduction. Hello, everyone. My name is Jeannette Gusko, and I am Communications Director for Change.org, the world's largest platform for social change. Our mission is to empower everyone, everywhere in the world, to create the change that they want to see. Almost 100 million people are coming to this site to start, to join, and to win campaigns about issues that they care about. Every day at Change.org, what me and my colleagues are doing, we are distributing very powerful and very compelling campaigns to users to match their issues, to match what they are truly interested in. Every hour, one petition, one people-powered campaign on the site is successful. And to all of this, there's one core, and the core is powerful stories. So let me start by telling you one of them. This, I hope you can all see, is Fama Mohammed. Fama is 17 years old. She's a normal girl. She's going to school, she's sharp, she's funny. Her main interests are music, her mates, and her phone. And she's one of 9 girls who come from a Somali background and living in the UK. So when she learned that 20,000 girls are at risk in the UK every summer to be cut, so they are at risk of female genital mutilation, FGM. She learns about this, she talks about this with her friends, with her teachers, and thinks about what she can do about it. And she decides that it would be a good idea for the Education Secretary, Michael Gove, in the UK, to send a letter to all schools in the UK empowering head teachers to talk to their students about that risk. It's a topic, it's a taboo, teachers don't know how to approach it. So she starts a petition on Change.org, and The Guardian decides to back the campaign. What happens is that after 20 days of campaigning, Fama and her friends are going to the Department of Education backed by 250,000 signatures to meet Michael Gove to discuss this idea. 90 minutes later, Fama comes out laughing, walking easily, because she won. She created genuine change. She had a good idea. She didn't, this wasn't a charity. She wasn't backed by public affairs officials and campaigners like you are, but she was backed by a community of 250,000 people, by The Guardian and by Change.org. This is quite a powerful story, but let me tell you a second one. Also a woman. This is Anke. Anke is a 32-year-old author and mother of 2. She had a very complicated birth and is therefore thankful to her midwife. That is why when she learns that the profession of midwifery in Germany is at risk because of liability issues, that she decides to act. On the evening of our federal elections in Germany in September 2013, she starts a petition on Change.org. She asks the newly elected government to add a clause into the coalition treaty to stabilize the profession of midwives in Germany. After 8 weeks, so in November 2013, she wins as well. What happened? It was her and 130,000 people doing something that formerly was only exclusive to lobbyists. She shaped a coalition treaty. So these are 2 quite amazing stories of everyday people, I would say, but those are stories which we see every day happening on Change.org. And these stories have something in common, which is storytelling. And I want to dig a little bit deeper about how everyday people are setting the agenda these days. So Fama herself is 17. I would say, from what we've seen of her, that she's the future of campaigning. She would say of herself that she's rather shy. She's rather not a person who speaks publicly. Yet, when she delivered the petition, she talked to the world's media on the issues she truly cared about. So she stepped up. She stepped up for the thing that she believes in is right, and that creates empathy. We have empathy with the courageous. And sorry, just a moment. And what was also interesting about it was that the core of her story was that she wanted something badly, but had trouble getting it. And her story resonated with so many people. What we do at change.org is that we build tools, we are innovating tools that teach people how to tell their story and how to share it with others even better. So, successful campaigns on change.org most of the time have a very powerful personal story connected with good timing. And the urgency here at Farmer's campaign was clear. Every year, lots and lots of girls are taken to Somalia, so back where their families are from, and they're getting cut. Farmer started her petition in February, so the urgency was clear and resonated very, very well with the news cycle. And the media results here have been incredible. The Guardian alone put her campaign on the cover multiple times. So let's not forget, all of this would not have happened if Farmer would not have started a petition. This is actually what the petition looks like on the site. So you see, it's very clear, it's very simple, clear ask, strong picture. You can see the signature count that is very important for media to see. So how strong is the support of a petition? So this very powerful technology to organize a community around any cause is what we put into the hands of passionate people, of people like Farmer, and that's why it's possible for everyone today to create the change they want to see. Second thing is people-powered campaigning. It's the people-powered campaigning model that we at change.org foster. It's actually a quite straightforward concept. Somebody starts a campaign, like Anke, and others supporting it. And people today do not need to wait for an organization to push for change. They just organize themselves. And by the signature count rising, the person who starts a petition gets the mandate to speak publicly about the issue. They are, you could say, they are built an expert. They're building expertise, and they are the voice and the face of the protest. So they are the one, when they meet a decision maker to decide how to move forward on the issue, that they meet on eyes level with them. But all of this could not have empowered Anke enough to do it alone. Like, Anke cannot change the political agenda alone. She needs to work with other people. But petitions also scale social action. They scale collective action. And how did it happen with the midwives in Germany? There were lots and lots of local protests, as you can see here. There were sit-ins, there were protest marches, there were lots of action on social media. It was a huge wave, all organized, all done by local groups throughout Germany, but all coordinated and informed through updates via Anke's petition. So this kind of scaling of social action is like one of the missing ingredients. To shift power balances, you need to organize this. And what we at Change.org want to do is to scale social action as much as the video cameras in all of your smartphones have scaled transparency. We want to scale social action as much as social media has scaled communication. Think about it. So many people have smartphones these days. When they see an injustice on the street, they take it and they take a video. It created a huge, huge wave of transparency. Same with social media. People through social media can distribute and communicate publicly with one and another. So this is the second thing. And then it's important to understand that petitions are newsworthy and that they are social in their DNA. First of all, people, when they sign petitions, when they sign campaigns, and they care about them, they share them. They share them with their friends. They share them on Facebook, on Twitter, via email, or via WhatsApp. Another thing is when there are important events coming up, when there are important dates to commemorate, for example, they use those dates to share them even wider with people who haven't heard of the campaign yet. This is an example of the journalist Peter Baker from the New York Times. He tweeted in support of a campaign to bring the journalist Jason Rezaian home just before the World Press Freedom Day. There are many other examples. I brought with me today an example of Germany's Federal Minister of Justice, Heiko Maas, and he tweeted in support of a campaign, of a viral campaign, national campaign against an Islamophobic movement called Pegida. So he's the he's the Federal Minister of Justice. And also people who come to the site and want to sign a petition that already won, and they tweet it that they love it. You know, it's just so great to see how people interact with the content. But it's not just social media. Petitions themselves, as you see in the example here, they sometimes even look like online articles as well. Like you can't quite say which one is the article and which one is the petition. We've also seen Ife. Ife is a young Nigerian who at the time was living in Germany, and she raised awareness on the abduction of more than 200 girls who were abducted in Nigeria by the terrorist group Boko Haram. I think nowadays everyone in the room knows Boko Haram, but there were times when nobody has heard of them. And more than 1 million people signed her petition, and due to her dedication, it is that the hashtag Bring Back Our Girls and the campaign itself has been resonating among millions, and was a global outcry for justice. So let me summarize here for a moment. People have a voice, and they are setting the agenda. There has never been a better time in history to start and run your own campaigns. The costs of organizing fell dramatically. So the combination of storytelling, of sharing campaigns in social media, and sharing them with media, and people-powered campaigns are the three ingredients that see us having campaigns won more and more than ever before. So we see that it's working. What's next? What's coming next? We see that petitions are growing into global movements. I told you about Pharma's story. So what happened after Pharma won her campaign? A 24-year-old FGM survivor, Jaha, living in the US, started her own campaign asking the Obama administration to issue a prevalence study on girls at risk and women affected. So for the first time, there will be a data set in the US to know about this issue and to work on it. She won in July 2014, so the Obama administration agreed to do exactly this. Right now, she's advising Washington politicians how to move even further. And just recently, she moved back to Gambia to teach other FGM campaigners how to fight FGM on the ground in Gambia, where it's still not illegal. And this is just one example. We see movements being created in all kinds of fields. For example, critical consumers, we had them today already in other presentations. Critical consumers asking for healthy food. We just had a victory last week when Kraft Foods agreed after many years of campaigning to take artificial dyes out of macaroni and cheese. It's a very, very popular product. Or animal lovers, they are taking one company after the other and check them whether there's animal cruelty allowed. And they're really, really thorough. So these movements are created. A second thing, authentic dialogues with decision makers. On change.org, decision makers, so everyone who's targeted, this could be elected officials or companies, have the opportunity, the possibility to answer directly to petitions. And when they answer, an email is sent to everyone who started and signed the petition. So it's a very effective means of interaction, of reputation management, of engaging authentically with people who care about you and your product and who address to you. There are lots of examples. I brought a couple. Nick Clegg, the Deputy Prime Minister of the UK, answered many petitions authentically. We have seen Gap responding to a petition asking, and it's actually a victory. So they responded that their subsidiary, Piperlime, will stop selling fur in the future, so an animal rights victory. And also, very recently, the candidate of the Conservatives in Spain of the regional elections in the city of Murcia, Pedro Antonio Sanchez, actually integrated a change.org button to his website. So you can't just go to YouTube, tweet, or Facebook, but you can actually direct petitions to him, like he's inviting people to petition him. And lastly, it's all about deeply integrated media. So media and journalists already today, they're covering petitions, they are backing petitions as The Guardian did, and they are more and more actually starting petitions as well. This example is from France, the left-wing magazine L'Express, and they started a petition by themselves asking the government to issue a visa for the whistleblower Edward Snowden. So what we'll see even more is journalists who want their articles to resonate with their audiences, to ask them to prolong, like take the knowledge that you have from the article and start a petition to actually create action. So I was just coming from Berlin. Before I came here, I was at another conference called Republica. It's a conference on digital society, and I saw Alexander Gerstner there. I listened to him. He's a German astronaut working for the European Space Agency, and he just returned from his mission from space. And what he said was, when I looked to the Earth, when I looked down to the Earth, I saw the destruction of Gaza. I saw the debris that the bombs left. I could literally see it. And when I looked down at the Earth, I could see the natural destruction at the Amazon. I can see it. It's visible from the space. And I was wondering if there is extraterrestrial intelligence looking at this planet at this moment or in the future. What will they see, and what will they think of us? So at change.org, we are working towards a world in which no one is powerless anymore, and we see the impact that everyday people create, and with that impact, campaign by campaign and movement by movement, this impact will inspire millions of others to do the same. This is only the beginning. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I think when I was listening your speech, I had this, I don't know how what's the English word for that, skudrings pārskrien.
Goosebumps.
Goosebumps, oh yes, goosebumps. I had this feeling of goosebumps, and yeah, thank you, it was fascinating. Do we have some time for questions? Do you have some question now? I have a question, and this was this rhetoric question which I asked in the very beginning about this democracy. So in this picture, what you described to us, where's the role of leadership, or what's the real power if we consider that it might come from bottom up, but also should, if we talk about leadership, from up to down. So how to balance that? Where's the truth?
Mm-hmm. So what we have seen is that the internet has been really good at building these big megaphones for people, right? Like what I also described is that people bottom up can take action, they can build communities and take action together. But in the past, we haven't been really good yet to build headphones for leaders, for the people who are taking the decisions that impact others, for them to listen and to engage really well. Which is why we built the change.org for decision makers to do exactly this, because campaigns will only win when leaders answer back to people. And I think the more this is happening, so leadership from both sides saying, I have an idea, listen to me, leaders engaging, saying, yes, we listen, let's come together and find a solution together. This is, from my point of view, the solution for the future.
Yeah, thank you. I think you answered my question. Thank you.
Thanks.
And I also would like to give you this beautiful book that